Welcome. Everyday tribal government's hard at work for you, our people. Today we're speaking with Michelle Gettsy. Michelle, it's been about 8 months since you started here. How's it been?
It has been the fastest 8 months of my life. It has gone so quick. It really has. It's amazing to be a part of this process.
So what's changed from when you first started to now? Since we're in the middle of a reorg, things are really in flux, and I know a lot changes every day.
It's true. It's true. With the 4 divisions, mine being tribal operations, we took all of the functions of the government and we grouped them with like functions. So all of my division work kind of on the back end of the government just to make sure that we function. We have general services, we have property management, we have media and marketing, public works, of course, grants and self-governance, and finance, human resources, and with my newest hire, we have construction department.
Tell us about your construction hire. I know you were excited about that.
I am very excited to have our new construction director. His name is Gettsy Paul. He has over 30 years of experience in construction. He's worked on more than a few multi-million-dollar projects and brought them in under budget and on time. And those are 2 things that I really enjoy. So I'm very excited to have Gettsy in place.
Jesse's also from here.
He is. He is a tribal member, has a lot of family here.
So what are some of the other things that have changed? I know your project management team has grown, shrunk.
It's in flux. Yeah, we're in the middle of hiring a project manager and a project coordinator. We have 1 project coordinator on hand, and we're looking at considering an administrative position in that department.
Just to clarify, since I'm often unclear, what does project management mean?
Our project management group is working on helping to fix Munis, helping to fix moms, and bring those 2 systems in so that they can speak to each other and work together. We have a lot of redundancy with those 2 programs, and hopefully this interface between the 2 and the upgrading of the 2 will stop that redundancy and help us make sure that all of our divisions are supported and our membership most of all.
So focusing on a lot of the software that
Correct.
helps us do the work we do.
Correct.
And human resources is also under a reorg.
They are. We have Heather Green, who's a Makah tribal member. The board contracted with Heather about the same time that we came on, and she has restructured the entire department and brought on a lot of people and put them in place. One of the things that we've been working on lately is seating so that all of HR is in the same place.
I know when I first started working for the tribe had about 300 employees. I know I'm dating myself, and human resources had 2 employees. Mm-hmm. And to contrast, now tribal government sitting right around 1,000
Right around 1,000. 40 of those are human resources.
Wow. Around
40.
So that really helps support our teams. Can you describe just a little bit about what human resources does?
We have, there's a lot that goes into the human resources structure, so forgive me if I don't know every single program that they run. But for the most part, it's hiring, employment, getting our tribal members back into place. When we started this project back in August, we had about 38% tribal member employment, and we have bumped that close to 50% at this time.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
It's very exciting for our tribe. They take care of any investigations in human resources. They help out the management. If management has any questions about, for instance, the handbook or redirection of employees, they help with that. They're very busy.
Tell me a little bit about property management.
Property management starts with real estate. So we have an interim executive director right now, Larry Bergstrom. And he was hired, contracted by the board again last year, I believe, to kind of take the place of Foley. Foley was an institution here for a long time in purchasing real estate for the tribe and help negotiate all of those kind of transactions. So that's what Larry came on to do. Underneath him is leasing. So we have, I think, 44 units that we lease to tribal members, and those are market rate leases, and they're all over the reservation. And Desiree Michael takes care of that leasing section. We also have planning is under Larry. Big Flats is also in there. I'm kind of drawing a blank. What else is under there?
Actually, I want to explore that a little bit
Sure.
because housing and leasing used to be the same department. So this is one of those changes that's happened under the reorg.
Correct.
Why the change?
To separate the duties, HUD housing is very specific and grant funded and controlled a lot by people's income. And leasing is not controlled by people's income. So it's more opportunity for tribal members that have good jobs and can make that market rate lease payment.
So it's really about just separating the really strict laws and rules that govern HUD from
Correct.
our more flexible program.
Correct.
Leasing is hard dollar run?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And one of the programs that we're working on, it involves a lot of our departments, actually. It's a team. We have a phase 3 development that was put in place years before I started. And we're at the point where we're getting ready to break ground. And it's off of Marine Drive. And we're going to hopefully have 13 houses built in there in the next year to 18 months.
That's so exciting. So another thing I've heard you mention is that we're no longer in the business of building 1 to 2 bedroom homes.
I have said that. I don't think that 1 to 2 bedroom homes support our membership. When we build a home or buy a home, we invite our family. We have our grandmother, we have our aunties, we have our uncles, we have our cousins, and we have our children. And 1 and 2 bedroom homes, we end up damaging more than using. And what we need to do is support the families that we have. So what I would like to see are 3, 4, and 5 bedroom units. That makes more sense for our community.
That's where the demand is oftentimes, for sure. Tell me about finance. What's been going on with finance?
Oh, finance also went under a restructure. When we came on board in August, there was going to be a restructure that moved finance under OBFM. And after a couple of months, I think the board decided that it wasn't the structure that they wanted to see. And so they put finance back under tribal operations. One of the things that I was tasked with doing was hiring a CFO. So I did hire a CFO. Her name is Jean Strafford, and she has a lot of experience with state funding. She came from the state of Alaska. I think it was the Department of Transportation, and understands grant funding and all of the needs for our grant-funded programs. So she's really come on strong. We are really happy to have her.
When she's a local, right?
She is. She grew up in Warm Springs.
Warm Beach.
Warm Beach.
She grew up in Warm Beach, and she has worked with other tribes?
She worked with the Sea Alaska Corporation, specifically with some elder members of the Sea Alaska Corporation. And so she understands that personal touch that we expect.
Grants and self-governance is a department we don't hear a lot about, but they do a lot for us.
They do. They have 4 employees currently, and Lorna Juvenile is the executive director over grants and self-governance. And they are constantly working to get us that other funding other than tax dollars. And I think that we had somewhere close to $100 million in grants last year.
Wow.
So we are hoping to build on that amount. We would really like to make sure that we are making the most of federal funding and other funding before we get into our tax fund.
Well, I think a lot of citizens still have the understanding, not still, a lot of citizens have the understanding that as we've grown, we've used less and less grants. So I think there might be a misconception that grants aren't an important part of our budget anymore.
Grants are a massively important part of our budget. If we can use the federal government's money to pay for all of our natural resources needs, why would we not do that? If we can use federal funding to help with roads and construction, why would we not do that? It makes more sense to use other funding before we touch our tax fund dollars. And that's hoping that we can save those tax fund dollars for our children, for our children's children, and just start building on that savings that we hope to have.
And the federal government has a trust responsibility to fulfill.
They do.
And that's something that a lot of people would find it convenient to forget.
Easily forgettable if we are the quietest minority in the country.
Public Works has a lot of exciting projects coming.
They do. They absolutely do. Gus Taylor is the executive director, and Sam Davis has been made the director of operations for Public Works. And they have so many programs and so much going on, there's no way that I could remember it all. I know that we have a lot of road development coming very quickly because we do have federal funding for that. We also continue to work with Big Water and continue to work on the infrastructure of the tribe, building that up. We have a new manager for utilities, so Mike Leslie is in. And one of the things that we really hope to do soon is to close the utilities building for safety reasons and hopefully get a new building built very quickly.
Well, that's exciting. We've talked a bit about your departments. When I first met you, you said something that meant a lot to me. You said that this was going to be the biggest and toughest job you've ever done and the one that means the most to your heart. Tell me how this has affected you in the last 8 months. I know you grew up off reservation and it's meant a big deal to you to come home.
I always said that because the tribe helped pay for my education, that I would come back. And I've tried for a long time. I interviewed for 12 years to come back and didn't expect to get this position at all. I'm so thankful for it. So I get up right now at 4:30 in the morning and I drive from Enumclaw, where I worked for Muckleshoot for 10 years. And the plan is to buy something out here so that we can move here. I wasn't able to grow up here. My mom wasn't able to grow up here. When my grandparents divorced, the courts did not see a mother. They saw an Indian. And they took my mother from her mother. So we didn't know our family here until my own parents got divorced. And when I was 10 years old, I met my grandmother. Her name was Lillian Williams. And she had such a big heart. She just loved us right away. So I met my Uncle Raymond, and I met all of my cousins, and I met my Uncle Jerry, and they always just brought us right in. We were family from the day one. So we still lived in Auburn, and we drove back and forth for powwows and salmon ceremony and family functions, but never really got to be a part of the community. So my goal is to be able to move back up here and raise my girls here as part of the community. I have 2 boys also, but they are 20 and 24, so it's their choice where to live.
Yeah. I think that's a unique position in Indian country in general, but here at Tulalip, having enough land and enough housing for our people has always been a struggle. So it's nice to know somebody who understands the struggle is taking care of those departments.
That's my goal.
Well, you're 8 months in, and hopefully you'll be here for a long time. What are some of your 1 to 5 year goals?
I would really like to see us build some houses, put in some apartments, be able to house our members. I would really like to just be able to support the membership. I have an easy goal for finance. Easy for me, because I don't work in there. I just tell them what to do. We have been trying very hard to respond faster, answer the membership calls, respond to emails. I scroll Facebook every night to check and see if anyone hasn't heard back on their loan. And I make that list, and I come in the morning and I give it to the CFO and I say, can you please check on all of these loan applications because they're not happy, so we need to find out what's going on. So that's a huge part of finance, just responding, answer the calls, be visible. Human resources is the same. Be visible, answer the questions. Be transparent, because it did take me 12 years to get a job here. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't qualified or that there was a conspiracy that they didn't want me to come in. It meant that they didn't think I was the best person for the job. So we just need to be more transparent and communicate better. Public Works is a well-oiled machine, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. Whatever I can do to help them. Media and marketing has a lot of goals, and I just want to support that. Goal number 1 is finding you guys a good space, and I'm supported with that. So it's really a good place to be. Construction, like I said, we're going to build houses.
So we didn't get into it much, but construction has just kind of spread out everywhere.
True. We are in at least 3 different places right now. The old building up by the Quill, we have some office space here in the admin building, and then the old Silver Village building. And we have problems in the building up by the Quill. And that houses both housing staff and construction staff. So we're going to work closely with Shawneen and her division to find a good alternative to where we are right now.
Michelle, thanks for coming and joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.